Hey guys, welcome back to Buzzer2Buzzer. Alright guys, so today we're going to be continuing with our NBA playoff predictions. If you've not already checked out the Eastern Conference, that'll be in the top right as a card. But today we're going to be talking about the Western Conference, where there are going to be a bunch more matchups happening. And to get started off with the West, we're going to be taking a look at the first versus the 8th seed matchup between the team I think none of us expected to stay at the top throughout the season, the Utah Jazz, against the team which snuck into the play-in tournament, the Memphis Grizzlies. Guys, our thoughts on who's going to be victorious?
You know, as much as I like Ja Morant, he's a spectacular young player. I'm gonna have to go with the Jazz on this one. Obviously, they're the first seed for a reason. They have been consistently performing this entire season to a high level, and that defense, obviously Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell leading the offense. That team is looking deadly right now, and I think that it should be a pretty easy matchup against the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I think that Grizzlies team is just too young right now. I don't see them going I don't see them winning too many games. You know, they had a really good victory against the Golden State Warriors, but I think Jazz are much more experienced, have much more talent, better coaching, and so I'll take the Jazz in this match.
Yeah, no, the Jazz are defensively rated the best team in the league, and the Grizzlies are far away from having a solid defense. And so, for me, looking at this matchup, the Grizzlies, this could be used in the future as a way of, okay, this is how we play against tough teams in the long series, but in the short run, you know, Jazz, they're going to sweep them, maybe drop one game. It's going to be an easy win for Utah.
Yeah, exactly, guys. I think the Jazz have made multiple statements, show that they're consistent, more importantly, as well throughout the season, with Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, the Defensive Player of the Year candidate, leading the team. A lot to respect for. The three-point ability has gone up through the roof as well. They deserve this first spot, and I think that the Grizzlies, like Arnie said, they're a young team. Jaren Jackson, Ja Morant, they got a great center within there as well. But I'm not expecting them to make much of an impact here. They might win one game, but the Jazz are ultimately going to be walking away as the winners. All right, guys, I'm moving on towards I think one of the favorite matchups for our guy Arian right here in this NBA playoff side, of course, being between the Kawhi Leonard-led Los Angeles Clippers going up against the 5th seed Dallas Mavericks. Now, guys, we saw what happened last year. The Clippers, somewhat you could say they got lucky. You know, whatever happened. They won the series 4-2. Luka Doncic, I don't know, you remember that game winner? A lot to remember from last year, but we're going to see a rematch going on right here. Arian looks heated. What's going on?
Okay, first of all, Clippers did not get lucky. In fact, the Mavericks got lucky on that one shot. It was so close to being a gentleman's sweep, but you know, Luka hit that easy buzzer beater.
Hold on. Okay. Let's take a step back. That was nothing. He was guarded by Pat Bev. Kawhi Leonard was too scared to guard up on him. Step back, 45.
It doesn't matter. The results of last year's series doesn't matter. This will probably be a gentleman's sweep. You know, Kristaps Porzingis hasn't been playing as well as he should be, as I think at least as many people thought he would be. Obviously, Luka's the main driving force of that team, but I just don't think, you know, I think the Clippers have too much star power, and the Clippers should get this series locked in.
Yeah, I think maximum the Mavs win 2 games, but like Arian said, it's probably going to be a gentleman's sweep. Kawhi Leonard, you know, as much as we talk about whatever happened last year with the whole Clippers choking and all things like that, it has no impact on this year. Obviously, different coaching, different playing style, and a different Paul George, because this ain't no pandemic P anymore. But so I think the Clippers are going to win this pretty easily and advance to the next round.
Yeah, you know, Luka can only do so much for that Mavericks team. I mean, they're still a few pieces away. They need a strong forward presence. You know, they have Kristaps, but he's very inconsistent this year. They need someone who they can rely on, maybe like a Julius Randle type player. And so without that piece, they can win games throughout the season against good teams, bad teams. But in a 7-game series, they can't beat a team like the Clippers, who have Rondo. You know, that playoff leadership that we always want to have. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard, Pfizer P, you know, after he got vaccinated. So we know that this Clippers team is going to be good, and they're going to easily beat this Mavericks team.
You know, on the topic of vaccines, you know, I think that for sure the Clippers, outstanding team. At the end of the day, I am going to be picking with the Clippers to advance in this series. But make no mistake, although pandemic Paul George right now is Pfizer P, he ain't going to get the booster shot when the next round comes about. 100%. Mark my words right now, because the Clippers, Ari, look up right here right now. The Clippers, they're so sneaky, guys, because they purposely lost the last 4 games of the series for what to happen, so that they don't got to play and get whipped by LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers in the first round, because they know what was going to happen. They're smart. I'm not going to question the coaching staff right there. It's a smart decision. You don't want to get outed in the first round again after what happened last year. The PR, Steve Ballmer, it's not going to be good luck. It's totally fine. But the Clippers, they will be advancing. I do expect, though, if Kristaps Porzingis is healthy, for the Dallas Mavericks to at least win 2 games, and this could be going to a game 6. But at max, the first round, unfortunately, the Clippers will be advancing. All right, guys, I'm moving on towards the third matchup in the Western Conference, this being between the third-seeded Denver Nuggets against the Portland Trailblazers. Now, guys, we saw the run which the Nuggets had last year, those 2 straight series, a 3-1 comeback, something phenomenal, which we'll never forget. But our thoughts as this new series comes about.
I think I'm gonna call this. I think this probably the upset of the Western Conference. I think the Trailblazers will win this series, and honestly, I just think it's because mostly the Jamal Murray's out. Jamal Murray is a bucket type of guy. He can go get you a bucket whenever needed. Nikola Jokic is more of the point guard on that team sometimes, and I think without a a scorer like Jamal Murray, they just don't have enough scorers on the team besides Jokic. And with CJ McCollum, Damian Lillard, all those guys on the Trailblazers, I think they'll just win the series.
Yeah, I think a big reason on how good the Nuggets were last year in the playoffs and how far they went is because of Jamal Murray and his impact on the offense. He was going crazy in the playoffs. But now without him, the Nuggets are looking at a quite different team, and I just don't know if they can get the job done, especially against a great offense against the Trailblazers. It doesn't seem like they can pull out the win.
I don't know what NBA you guys have been watching, but without Jamal Murray, the Nuggets have a better record than when he was playing. And 2, Michael Porter Jr. has jumped into that role perfectly. It's not that they don't lose anything. It's not that they don't lose anything with Jamal Murray. Obviously, you want that leadership. You want him as your point guard on the court. But you have Aaron Gordon, right? He's been playing phenomenal with the combination of Nikola Jokic and Michael Porter Jr. taking that next step in this game that we all saw coming after last year's presence of the bubble. I don't know how you guys pick against this Nuggets team. I mean, even Damian Lillard, the past month and a half, has had one of the worst months of this year. This is his worst shooting performance. And so looking at this Blazers team, they're trending downwards. This Nuggets team is actually doing better than they were without. They are doing better without Jamal Murray. I don't know how you guys pick against the Nuggets.
Respect the hot take, Harsh. Respect the hot take.
I don't know how you guys respect the Nuggets, bro. What?
No disrespect. It's just a hot take. Who knows? It might happen. It might not.
Well, let's make it a double hot take, because I'm also going with the Denver Nuggets right here, guys. We've been seeing, for sure, Jamal Murray, the impact he had last year was impeccable. He dropped multiple 50-point games. We saw the crazy run which he had. But this year, Nikola Jokic, Michael Porter Jr., the Aaron Gordon trade, how well he's been integrated into the system. These Denver Nuggets are looking like a great team. For sure, I'm not going to sit here and say that Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, Yusuf Nurkic coming back as well. Are they not going to have an impact? No. Which is why I think that this series is going to be the longest one. It's going to go to 7 games, but at the end of the day, the Denver Nuggets will pull away. All right, guys, and now moving on towards the last and probably one of the ones which will be debated the most series in probably the whole first round of the NBA playoffs. That, of course, being between the second-seeded Phoenix Suns against a LeBron James, Anthony Davis-led team who barely snuck in because of the play-in tournament, Los Angeles Lakers. I know we all got a lot to talk about these games. Our thoughts on who will emerge throughout this first series.
I'll just go first and let Arian talk right after. But this is going to be a crazy matchup. These two teams are insane, and I don't know what Rayon's going to pick, but I feel like it's a lot closer than you think. And the Suns have one of the best defenses in the league, and Chris Paul, Devin Booker, wow, that's just been so surprising. And Chris Paul, him as a leader, him as a player, is just insane, his impact on the Suns. But that being said, I just don't know if the Suns can do enough to beat the Lakers. Playoff LeBron James, but as hard as it is to admit, is just a different breed. And I would want the Suns to win, but it looks like it might go to 7 games and the Lakers might get the win. But it can go either way, that being said.
I'm going to jump in before Ari and Ryan get started real quick. What worries me about this Suns team is Chris Paul's been there. He's been in the moment. He took that Warriors team to 7 games a few years back. We remember when he was on the Rockets. And so he took that Thunder team that's obviously now about the bottom of the league, to the 4 seed. So Chris Paul has the leadership to take these guys there. But what worries me is this is Devin Booker's first time in the playoffs. This is DeAndre Ayton's first time in the playoffs. And those are important players on that team that I don't know if they can step up. Last year Chris Paul he had that Steven Adams, who's also been there, and so for me it's kind of worrisome to see this Suns team, and it's honestly sad. They worked so hard the second seed. Now you got to play the Lakers in the first round. Kind of sucks. Hope to see maybe in the second or the championship, but I gotta take the Lakers here.
Game is going to be this series will be a gentleman's sweep. I think I'm going to take the Lakers to win in 5 games.
Okay, say that. Yeah. Oh, hey, let's go back. What were you gonna say? What were you originally gonna say? All right, come on.
I think it's the Lakers have too much firepower, and like Harsh said, the experience on the Lakers is a lot. Like AD went to the championship last year. LeBron, obviously, we know all his experience. They've got a lot, Montrezl Harrell. So I just think they got a lot more experience on that team, a lot more talent, and I don't know if Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton can step up in the moments like they will have to if they want to beat the Lakers.
Somebody pulled a real quick switch up right here, but it's obvious right here. The Los Angeles Lakers you provide the reasoning, and that's the reasoning why they're going to the chip and winning it back-to-back this year. Another way to put it, Los Angeles Lakers, guys, we already know Anthony Davis, LeBron James led. In the playoffs, you see LeBron completely turn around whatever he's playing like. He's playing 100%. He's about to break the bar and go to 125%. There's nothing much more to talk about right here. The Phoenix Suns, though, much respect for staying at number 2 seed. Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker. The show they've been putting on in Phoenix has been incredible to watch. But when it comes down at the end of the day, looking at matchups, sure, Chris Paul might be able to have a great game every now and then, win a game or two. But who's going to guard LeBron? Who's going to guard AD? Michael Bridges? I mean, I'm not expecting anybody. It's a young team along with some veteran leadership from Chris Paul. And that's pretty much it. At the end of the day, I'm excited to see a CP3 versus LeBron half banana boat reunion happen out here. But the reunion will fall short when LeBron and AD move on to the second round. Alrighty, guys, those are our thoughts on the 4 playoff matchups happening in the Western Conference. As always, guys, be sure to like button, subscribe, and comment down below who you think will be advancing from these matchups. Guys, take care. Catch you guys on the next one.